Welcome back. In this session, we'll talk about communicating, collaborating, and community building. And first, let's think about the importance of these. So it's important enough for the ISTE standards to include as one of their 6 standards communication and collaboration for students, creativity and innovation being another. Both of these relatively little emphasized in traditional school curricula. But what's the critical importance of communication and collaboration and community building? Well, it's in the workplace, the home, and the community. So the Secretary of Commerce in the U.S. Government for the past 25 years has surveyed CEOs of leading corporations to find out what are the areas where the students newly graduating from high school entering the workforce have the greatest deficiency. Where are the problems that schools can best address to help kids be better workers? And the 2 areas that keep coming up are communication and collaboration. These are the most common reasons why new employees are fired. So for a new employee has to be able to communicate to customers, to fellow workers, and to supervisors. Increasingly, the workplace is composed of teams. So not only do new employees have to communicate, but they have to collaborate. Think of the home. Why do something like 40 to 50% of marriages end in divorce? You hear that, oh, she never listens to me. He can't hold a calm discussion. The communication and collaboration goes from the home really all the way up to the federal government. So we have legislatures with members who refuse to compromise. They refuse to collaborate. They insist on their own way. So these skills of communication and collaboration and community building are core at all levels. So from a school perspective, and you can extrapolate this to healthcare, any workplace, even the military in some ways. So, but imagine a classroom. So how can you communicate the joy and the interest and the adventure of learning new things for a 1st grade student or a 6th grade student? So traditional, like formal school communications they don't capture that. So imagine if every day there are Snapchat photos from every elementary classroom that go out to parents, capturing the core activities and joys of learning of that day. Many classrooms have Facebook pages or YouTube channels, if not a classroom, a school, where as opposed to the formal information conveyed on a school website, the daily and interesting activities and units of study and interesting things that happen in class are communicated so that parents and grandparents and neighbors can see and be a part of it. Now, what can you do with 140 characters? Well, if you're a 1st grader, that's about the length of a sentence that you can write, isn't it? And some talented 1st grade teachers do a cool thing. At the end of each day, they have their students tweet to their parents what they've learned in a correct 1st grade sentence. Many classes and schools have newsletters. And with an app like the free Orasma app, you can turn any newsletter, a web newsletter or a print newsletter, into something like Harry Potter's Daily Prophet, where that image can come to life with a short video. Just connecting in increasingly rich ways the home to the school to the community. Teachers can have something like a Google Hangout for parents for 15, 20 minutes a week maybe every Sunday evening, or maybe every Wednesday after school, or Friday mornings before school. It doesn't cost a thing, and it pays off in student engagement and connection to the community. This isn't just something for teachers to do. Imagine a daily expectation of kids. Okay, who are you going to communicate with? Who are you going to ask for information from? Who are you going to share what you've done with? Collaboration and sharing is an extension of communication. So imagine daily communication in a classroom. Well, there are free web conferencing tools. Blackboard Collaborate is one. There's a great one called Fuse. And Blackboard Collaborate will give you a free service for up to 3 sites, meaning you could connect 3 classrooms, or you could bring in an outside expert as many times as you want. And it can be a national or international expert, or a parent, or a grad student, a local professor, a local legislator, the mayor, whatever. Fuse, in contrast, allows you to do the same thing, but up to 25 simultaneous images. There can be a wiki where there is collaboration to share the knowledge that we have learned or that we want to share. A system like CMAP Tools allows kids to collaboratively build a map of the knowledge that they are growing in anything from a high school biology class to a 6th grade astronomy or whatever. Teachers can share lesson plans through lots of internet sites. One that is kind of interesting from my perspective is the technology site PhET Simulations. And for every simulation, there are a variety of teacher-contributed lesson plans that use that simulation as it has been tested in an actual classroom. So just as teachers could be expected, or they could expect themselves, to participate and share regularly, you can have the same expectations of kids. They can regularly share stories they wrote with younger kids, or contribute work to be posted on a classroom website. By the time any kid gets out of school, why shouldn't their work be featured in some way or other? It doesn't have to have personally identifying information. There doesn't have to be any threat that would mitigate against this. So what does a classroom and learning have to do with community? Well, a teacher can be a local community organizer, a virtual community organizer, or participant. And this helps model for kids a role that they may want to take in the future. So there can be a class website that a teacher creates. Many classrooms, I would guess 1/3 or more of the classrooms across the nation, have such websites. Some are provided by the school, others created by the teacher. And it just is a way of connecting the community to the school. Wikispaces does the same thing with knowledge. For any activity that has a cost, a community or a school activity, classes post through Kickstarter. Razoo focuses on nonprofits, Indiegogo, and thousands and thousands and thousands of class activities and projects have been funded in this way by internet crowdsourced funding. Some classes have adopted local history as their sort of focus from year to year to year. So they maintain a local history site. Some of them have a local history archive. With a program like ARIS, you can create local history games. So this is a way to connect kids to community using the free tools in technology. Many teachers get their professional development from professional learning networks online, or sometimes they're called special interest groups. Teachers and kids learn from forums. Kids hang out on game forums or athletic forums for their favorite teams. This is a way of communicating with a broader community that schools should perhaps embrace, because it makes kids belong, feel like they belong, and it gives them the tools of connecting with people outside of their neighborhood. So this kind of contribution to the community expectation can be something that is regular both for students and for teachers. Now, so far the examples have been local, but the 3 C's have equal applicability to the globe. So just as there have been pen pals for decades and email pals, there can be similar connections between a classroom in the US and a classroom in France or Mexico or California or wherever. So that it's a reasonable expectation, I think, for by the time a kid graduates from high school to have had multiple contacts with classes and individuals around the world where they've made virtual friends, and they realize that they're part of a global community where contact is with people, and the technology and the activities aren't about the technology. They're about connecting with people near and far. This is just one teacher's idea of ways of connecting more deeply with the globe, and it captures the idea of the 3 C's. So Google Maps and Google Earth give students a better sense of their broader community geographically. They can collaborate with reading and writing. So imagine a 5th grader every day reading to a 2nd grade or a 1st grade class somewhere. That could be something that is institutionalized between 2 teachers. Regularly bringing in outside experts, from grad students to parents to mayors or representatives, and participating and initiating the crowdsourced ideas of projects that can be funded, or simply surveys or ideas that are shared. So the 3 C's, communication, collaboration, and community building, can connect to every subject, every grade level, as a way of more deeply engaging students in what they are learning and the world in which they are learning it.